Welcome to KDNA interview with El Grupo Potente, Mr. Potente, we're going to call him. He is going to join us. We'll be here for about 45 minutes, and I want to just say hello to everybody. Please share with people, friends, and stuff, and let them know that we're on at 4 o'clock today. It'll be 5 o'clock Texas time. They did a comeback after 20 years, and he might have to correct me, but I do recall him from 1995, 1996 with Mr. Potente, and I'm going to bring him in right this moment. Hello. There he is. Well, hello
Okay,
there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That,
I took
that was
off for a little bit. I thought we were okay. I didn't know we were gonna go live that quick.
that was a good entrance. Actually, I took off to look for my charger because my phone's going to die, but
I thought it
we
was gonna
are
be a little
here.
bit longer, and I was like, "I que voy viendo." I opened the door. It's live. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was perfect. You came in perfect at the perfect time. That's
Hey, and
awesome. I
all
love.
limping on my crippled ankle right now.
Well, remember, you're not the only one limping today. I have a
Oh,
bad torn meniscus on the left knee, and
oh.
I don't know what happened to my right arm. No, I can't. It's neither. I can't do upper and I can't do body exercise. So guess
Oof.
what?
You need to get good. Yes, that's it. Get some sleep, get some good food in you, get some rest, and then take some painkillers, and hopefully every day you get better. That's all you can
Let
do.
me tell you, I have an empty bottle. I'm gonna have to run to the pharmacist after this interview because I need to make sure I have more painkillers.
Oh, I hear you, man. I don't like taking stuff. My wife, give this
No,
pill. No,
neither
no,
do
no, no,
I.
no. Me no gusta. I said, me aguanto. It's okay. Eventually, it's gonna have to heal. That's it.
Right,
It
right.
is what it is.
Yeah, you just have to be good to your body, and I'm not used to sitting down, Anthony. You know,
Oh,
I'm not a TV watcher. I don't like to watch TV. I don't like to watch bad news. I'm just like constantly going, especially now that I'm retired. I just like to take my time and do the fun things in the house, and then I have to lift up heavy stuff, so that gets me in trouble.
I hear you. I hear you. I
So,
hear you. What can you do? You know what I mean? So we all get old. It's not a problem. We just gotta navigate it the best we can. So
right.
Dina, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank
What
you.
are we gonna
Thank
get
you.
into today?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your undivided time because I know you're really busy and just so excited to see a comeback. And you can correct me on that, but I recall you 95, 94, 95 about the time I started FM radio. And, it's like, this is like a reunion for me because I never really met you in person or even
No.
talked with you, but I played your music.
Well, I appreciate it back then. Thank you so much. And who knew that 30 years later we'd be speaking here and not even in
Right.
person, but this technology. I said I've got into it on other podcasts, the pros and cons to this, but to
Right.
right now we're going to use it as a pro. How's that?
Right.
Sammy
Yes.
Torres, what's up?
Well, yes, we're waiting for some people to enter. I have a couple, and Bob Silva from Silver City and Jerry Lewis are watching too. Hi, you guys! They're from my hometown. They're my homies. So welcome to the show, guys. I'm gonna put here add followers so I can see if I can get all my
Oh, my
4,000
4,000
followers to
followers
come.
to come on. Hey, everybody's got different things to do during their day. So this is early for me
Right.
to do this, but it's okay. I don't mind it. So it's New Mexico. So what part of New Mexico are you from, or what?
I am from southern New Mexico. You
Okay.
probably can identify with the Las Cruces area.
Okay.
And
Got you. Yes.
off the interstate, I'm about 60 miles from Las Cruces, going west, a little
All right.
town called Deming, New Mexico.
All right.
And it's the land of Pancho Villa, so you better be careful when you come down here.
Oh, mandale saludos to Melissa. She's always tuning in to this is my drummer's sister. She's tuning in right now. She's always tuning in to Puro Potente. So thank you for tuning in, Melissa. Appreciate it.
Yes, Sammy Torres, thank you for joining us. Wonderful, Sammy Torres. She's doing such an awesome job on podcasts.
Yes,
And
I know.
congratulations to Sammy as well. It's always good for us to support,
I saw
support,
that.
support the Tejano family. Yes. This looks like it's going to be an exciting interview. Look at, I'm getting chills already, Anthony.
Oh no, come on. This is just what we do. Hey, we're just kicking back, having a conversation. That's it.
No, you know
That's all.
what? No, you know what? I like you because you're just like so, you're coming in and out of the conversation. And I love that about artists when they do that. It's when they pause and I'm like, well,
What I told you that because every artist
I
is different now. You
know.
have some because
Yeah.
as a host, our show is Puro Potente, and we got Juan Mendoza on there. What's up, brother? Tejano TV in the house.
Hello.
Thank you. You can catch our show Puro Potente on Tejano TV Friday nights at 8 o'clock. So, but thank you guys for tuning in, Dina. Like I said, this is I spoke to you off behind stage. I was telling you, as a host, you're really at the mercy of the guest. If you got a great
Yes.
guest and can take it in any direction they want, it could be a
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful interview. And if you've got a guest who's just like, what? How long did you play? 5 years. Do you like music? Yes. Who's your favorite artist? So and so. Uh, that's tough as a host. Where do we go from there?
Exactly.
Where
And
do we go from there?
this is so different for me, Anthony, because when I did interviews back, in my days, La Sabrosa and the FM station, they
Yep.
were all face to face. It
Yes.
was just a mic. It wasn't like, we had a video where everybody could watch. So it was comfortable in a way where I was looking at the person and, you can see their motions, their gestures, everything. And we just have a mic. And if they have to go to the bathroom, we don't even know that they're at the bathroom. We just play the music. Pero aquí,
Like
pues,
I said, it,
pueden verte
this,
hasta las canas.
no, it's all right. That's the whole idea. But this here, like I said, there's pros and cons. The pros to this is yes, you can see them in person. The con is, in those days, a corporate radio, they had an agenda. What think about it. If you had a 15-minute interview on a corporate radio, that was a long interview. It didn't
And
matter if
they
it was
char-
Emilio or Ram. It didn't
and they
matter.
charged. And they charged.
Forget about that. It's just that they have a time slot. That's it. I have a
Yeah.
friend, Johnny Paderna, on Club in Victoria. I did
Uh-huh.
an interview with him over the phone, and it reminded me of, oh my goodness, KXT and K Rio back in the days. I'm like, oh Jesus, because it's an agenda, and I don't hold it because we're used to this setting. You could be on
Right.
an hour. Hell, I was with Tiger Mays for 4 hours last week. Nobody who's
Uh-huh.
going to tell us anything, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It is
Anything
what it
goes.
is.
Yeah.
But
Right.
corporate, no.
Right.
It's you got your 15 minutes and in and out.
Hmm.
We got to get to play because if somebody doesn't like this artist, then they're tuning out and tuning into the competition. You
Right.
understand the agenda.
Right.
Whereas here,
Mhm.
you want to be a part of the show, tune in, comment, and if
Right.
not, too bad. No travel these days, Juan.
How's your brother doing?
He's doing good. He does all the heavy lifting these days. He's the one who works all the time. Not that
Well,
I
then
don't work. I'm not saying that I don't work. I told you I rolled my ankle today, and
I,
it's bad. It's
yeah.
very bad. It's the worst that I've ever had it. When I roll, I don't get hurt too often, but when I roll an ankle, it's bad. And this one has been the worst. I don't know if it's because this one's fractured or it's because I'm about to hit 50, which was the reason why it's worse.
Oh,
I don't know.
you
I'll
sh-
let you guys
this
decide.
shouldn't be this should not be happening at 50, okay? I'm way older.
Oh,
I'm way older than you, and this just happened with my meniscus, and I'm like, no, not now.
the meniscus is
I'm
horrible.
like, wait a minute, I'm retired, going on 64 years old. I'm not ashamed of my age because I take care of myself, but
Yep,
I'm like,
it's good.
seriously? And yesterday, okay, I'm not gonna do the lower body. I'm gonna be nice to my knees. So I decided I'm gonna do upper body. Pues qué pasó? Me sacó I don't know, something is pulled, a muscle. This is as far as I can go with the shoulder. So I'm like, no way. I give up.
It is what it is. You just got to hang in there. Like I said, be cognizant of what you're doing, warm up, stretch, and then get a roller. That's what I do. I get a rollers because when I hurt a lot, got to roll that out. The knots in your muscles. A lot of times it's that simple, and you just got to roll them out. I'm a
Right.
master at that. All right.
Well,
What do you want to know about Potente?
let's roll into the music, a hybrid sound that combines traditional, conjunto, and tejano. Woo! A group with
Ay,
lots
ay, ay.
of energy from 1990, brother Anthony and Esteban. Man, City. I didn't even know you guys were from there. I just remember your music. I remember Linda Morenita. I remember Arrepiéntete. Take it from there.
Hold on, before we get there, Bob Ramon. I said, Bob Ramon. Before I did that, I got down into that quad stretch, and all I needed, I said, trust me. I said, oh man, if I stretch this in 2 weeks, I'm in that quad stretch. And then I went to the ranch right before I went right before I twisted my ankle. What do you call it? I went. I was there at the lodge. I hit the knees, boom, and then I said, okay, my problem isn't hitting the knees; it's stretching back. But
Oh,
that is just all I have to do is just the hip flexors, stretch the hip flexors, stretch my quads, and I got that. The hard part for most people is getting down because your knees are turning like this and your ankles are turning like that. So, but I got down quickly. So I said I have no problem. I said let's just put it this way: if Grupo Frontera wanted to do a collaboration and I got that call in 1 month, I'll be doing that skit exactly the same. And eso te lo juro. All I need is the call. I promise you. If you know anybody watching this knows the Grupo Frontera, you get them that message. If they want to do a collaboration, Potente Linda Morenita, I'll do the show. I can't speak for my brother.
I need
I
to
would do
see that skit. I need to see that skit with from
it. It's a
cannot
quad stretch.
wait.
It's a quad stretch. And no, but I keep myself, like I said, in relatively good shape. So I'm never too far out of doing anything like that. The
Well, I'm gonna
imitation
keep
Potente
that
Linda
roll.
Morenita. Here
What
it
did
is,
you call it?
Mariah Rodriguez.
Roller? The
What is that?
roller? What did you call it? A roller?
The rollers,
Roller?
the rollers for soft tissue, deep tissue
Yes.
massage.
Yes.
They have some that
Oh,
are more. They're not so bumpy, and some that are bumpy. I have one of each of them. Real bumpy one, and one it's not. And that
uh-huh.
that loosens you up. Everything. I use that. Grupo Frontera's imitation of Potente. Yes, what I'm saying. If they want to do a collaboration, I'll go over there and I'll do it. All I take, give me 1 month, and that's with my hurt ankle. I know because I know what I can do. I'm not, and if I can, I have no problem coming here on Dina's show and saying, you know what, I couldn't do it. I bit off more than what I could chew. But if I do it, I want everybody to come out here. Props for you doing it. That's all.
Anthony,
Ay.
we had like 15 minutes of, advice about our bodies and warming up and pulling something, and something's not working anymore. But I know a lot of things are working for you today. So
Oh well.
tell us about the different sound, the unique sound that you're bringing on.
Well, like I said, what we're doing right now is a lot of we say we're gonna, because when we started back up, we were very unsure of ourselves, what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. That's the reason why there was a name change prior to Potente, which is prior to pandemic. Eficaz, we didn't want to really do Potente, but unfortunately, people didn't let that go. I mean, it's just Potente, Potente, Potente. So why fight it? Let's do this. I don't
Right.
like that skit that everybody sees on the Rogelio Boteo show. Are you kidding me? It's like the most popular video in this industry you'll see. Whether you're mocking it, you like it, whatever. It's you've seen it. Everybody's seen it. And think about it. This is Potente. Who's Potente, really? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, thrown in with the Mosses and the Mafias and the Jay Perez and the David Ligarza, Ram Herrera, Emilio Navarez, Salinas. Who is Potente? But yet that video keeps surfacing. And to the point where, what do you call it? Grupo Frontera is putting that skit on because they know this. They know that I've seen so many laughing people, people laughing at that skit. I mean, think about it. I mean, that would be funny to see somebody do that today. Today, people don't do that, but that was coveted back in the days, man. It was a show. So, and like I said, too, we decided to do songs that we first started with to kind of agarrar onda, and then we'll go from there. And so we decided to do songs from our very first CD, Unleashed. That's what we've been releasing over the past few months. And well, going into next year, I'm gonna try something a little different. People may not like it. Some people may. It is what it is. We have a different we have a different sound just because of our maturity. The my voice is totally different. As musicians, we're just so much more seasoned than we were then when we
It's not
perform.
that not that change when you were young and your voice was changing and you sounded like a crow when you're like 14 years old and your mom's going, ¿Qué te está
Yeah,
pasando aquí?
yeah, ain't that the truth? Well, I said I've come a long ways, and I'm happy with the hard work that I put in, and my brother is too. I mean, we have a lot better stage presence, even though we don't do necessarily the show. But that was dated, you know, that show that everybody sees and people laugh at and mock. It's dated. It's from the 90s. You know what I mean? In those days, are you kidding me? Everybody would go crazy. I remember we'd go to the valley and no, hombre, everybody, the 15, 16, 17, 18 year olds, the crowd is full of it. And everybody's like, oh, wow, what they're doing. Today, nobody looks at it like that. How can you tell that to somebody who wasn't a part of that? You see what I'm saying? It's very, very
Yes.
difficult. So,
Anthony,
go ahead, ma'am.
Anthony, so okay, so before this question slips away,
Yes.
how do you think your voice has changed? You must have had a
Hmm,
distinction. Notice that.
hmm,
How you think your lyrics are
hmm,
coming out much better? More, you have more confidence. You say, how? What style
hmm,
are you? Where are you moving? Where are you going?
hmm. Wherever I want, wherever I want. That's and I tell this to people. It's funny because Jesse Verreal from Florida. I keep up with him a lot. Very good musician, good songwriter. And I saw a post of his a couple years ago. And I reposted about talking to young artists and about just giving them consejos. And he had said that a lot of youngsters, I said, I remember I would have acted that way too back in the day. He said that he would tell people, you know what, go get a vocalist coach. Don't. And when you say that, you right away you take it as, oh, you say I'm not a good singer. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with getting better and learning quickly. And a vocalist or somebody to teach you how to use your voice, how to hit pitches, how to use vibrato, how to use slurs, volume control, all that. Because it
Mhm.
takes years by yourself. But if you can get a guy or a girl to help you with that, hell, you're going to get there so much faster. And Jesse said, if somebody would have told me that, helped me, 25, 30 years ago, I would have done it. I said, I wouldn't have done it then. But today, the version of me, I said, oh, hell yeah, because it's the quickest way to get to where you're going. And because, I mean, there's a lot of people, I've heard a lot of singers say, oh, I sing right on key. I'm a good singer. Do you think that's all it is to being a good singer? Please. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm not being ugly, but there's levels to it. You know what I mean? And I'm not. You know what?
Mhm.
Not everybody has to be the best vocalist, but I'm obsessed with it, learning to be better. Even today, I'm gonna be 50 here at the end of the year, and I think I'm the best version that I've ever been, and I can prove it on by you listening to my recordings. I've gotten better and better and better. Hell, just recordings that I did a year ago, I'm way better today than I was then, and I just want to keep getting better. It's not to say that I'm better than anybody. I just want to be the best version that I can possibly be, and that's it.
Well,
What's up, Sean?
you have an EP on the works called Unleashed.
No, that was our very very first one. Okay, that
Oh,
was our
well, that's
very
not what I
when
have
we were
here.
Unleashed with Freddie Records. Yes, we were
Okay.
doing songs. We're
Oh,
redoing songs from that production.
what about Siempre a mí?
Siempre a mí. That was one that was right after Arquerían Más. That's what started the change in because when we were Freddie Records, they at that time Los Tiranos del Norte were very popular in California, and we had that
Yeah.
look. We could play that norteño sound very very good because that's where we come from.
Right about 2000, right? Late 90s, 2000,
Late '90s,
2004.
exactly
Just about.
the late
Yes,
'90s.
I remember. I remember I was seeing all this norteño come through the radio station. I was like, what the heck is
So they're
this?
they're pushing that towards us, and so that
Uh-huh,
Siempre a mí CD, we came out with hats, and then the next one is changed the name. If there's something I could go back and redo, I wouldn't have never changed. I
uh-huh,
would have stayed Potente and stayed with that sound because it was a unique sound. Once you get into the norteño sound, we were good at it. I'm not saying that we weren't. We would go and people would say, "Man, y'all are great. Y'all play great." But there's so many more bands that industry or that market is even bigger, so it's harder to get in. We had already established somewhat of a name with Potente in the
uh-huh,
Tejano Conjunto industry. We should have
mhm.
just stayed there and just I mean, whatever we may have been, but we could have continued to perform like that. It is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. Can't change the past.
I wanna give shout outs to Johnny Martinez. Johnny, you know Johnny from Grupo Diferencia, right?
Yes,
From
what's
Junta
up, Johnny?
Diferencia? Yeah, Johnny's on. Hello, Johnny, and to all the other guys, to Joey and Frankie, and who am I missing? Oh, Johnny Senior, the drummer. Yeah, Sammy
I got
Torres
to
is on with
perform.
us.
I got to perform with him when they were here in San
Thank
Antonio.
you.
What day? Yes, I asked him, "Hey Johnny, can I play one of the drums?" Yeah, we were at the Grasshopper Club there in San Antonio. So I got up
Uh-huh.
there. We played a cumbia. I wanted to play a ranchera, but they were in their set. They had a cumbia, and I got
Uh-huh.
up there. I started playing. And he was all happy. We took pictures. That's the first time I met him. They're cool.
That's
Johnny's cool.
awesome.
All the guys are real
You
cool,
know,
man. He treated me real good.
yeah, they are. They're, you feel comfortable around them. They get that. They
Yes.
have that Arizona feel, that
Yep.
good vibe, very positive. I love to hang out with those guys. When I go to San Antonio, they're pretty much my fam there. We Airbnb together, and I just love Frankie. He's awesome. Well, all of them are. But
Yep.
La Familia Martinez and his wife and them, it's just fun hanging out with them. They're a lot of fun.
For
Jessica
sure.
Sachs. Do you know Jessica Sachs out of El Paso, Texas?
I don't know her. What about
Yeah,
me, Johnny Rodriguez? Hold on. What about me? What about me? What about you, Johnny? I'm not getting that. Hey, I couldn't answer the phone, Johnny.
oh,
I mean, you're gonna have
we
to conversate through me through here, Johnny. So I can't answer the phone while I'm on here. Come on, but I will answer
that's
you
your third
here.
person. That's your third
That
person,
that is
right?
my that is
Yeah.
my. That's what he means. What about me? Hey,
Mr.
because he's
Potente
like,
number three, right?
no, because I
The
always
third?
reference the Potente Triangle because
Uh-huh.
he's the original. He's the original
Oh.
drummer that came in and unleashed. So when we
Uh-huh.
brought him back in, when we started again, we brought him back in, and it was important to finish out the ride. And I told him it's important to finish out the ride with my brother, him, and myself, because we can go back and on a Puro Potente show, we have so many
Uh-huh.
pictures and memories of shows that we did together. Heck, we could talk forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And was if nothing else, man, just having two guys like that so close. I mean, when things are bad, no levantamos, and when things are good, we high five each other and just happy that things go good. So I couldn't do it. I've referenced this. I
Wait a
couldn't do it
minute.
without
He's
him.
he's not your brother though, right?
Johnny, no, but he may as well be. He may
I was
as well
gonna
be.
say when you guys get up to, I was like, wait a minute,
No,
were they living together at
the
the
accordion
time?
player Esteban is my brother, but Johnny,
Yes,
he
I
may as
know
well be
that.
my brother because I mean, we
Oh,
talk.
okay.
I
Yeah.
talked with him earlier a couple of times. We talk every day,
Uh-huh.
so I actually talk with him more than I talk with my brother. So how's that?
So Johnny, you guys all are from the same area, from Carn
No,
City?
well, no. Johnny's Victoria, born and bred. He's still there.
Oh,
And
Victoria.
obviously, I moved from Carson City. I live in Benavides, and my brother lives in Pierce Law. So we live a ways. That's the reason why we don't gig. One of the reasons why we don't gig a lot is because
Uh-huh.
we're spread out,
Uh-huh.
quite a ways. And then of course we're always busy. As much as we would love to do this, like we were when we were kids, we got families. We got to take care of, and I don't want to take that. I'm not going to take a gamble and say, well, I'm going to at my age. You know what I mean? Maybe if I was 30, I'd say, well, let me make a run at it, see what I could do. But I'm
Mhm.
here. I do it for fun, and I'm glad that there's people who still remember us, which is allows us to do some nice shows. We got one coming up in Monterrey. Fingers crossed here in
Ooh.
July 4th. Hopefully, que se haga eso. But we pick and choose when we want to, and we put on a great show. Most of the people love it.
Well, okay, so we don't want to discount Johnny Rodriguez. You say that he contributes a different sound, a unique one. Tell us about that unique sound. What you don't want to break out with your surprise or your mystery. You're keeping us like in
No, look, at that time, we a couple weeks ago we had our the bass player who used to play with us, and we're very good friends, all of us.
uh,
So it was a pleasure to have him. Ali Garza, he used to play with Michael Salgado, played with Jody Farias, he played with us, he played with quite a few bands, and we had him on. And he's like our brother, you know what I mean? And it was great to have him on the show. We're gonna have him on
mhm,
every couple of months on our show just to say hi. What what he did references when we had our first drummer, he had a different sound. And then when Johnny came in, at that time, the Chamacos were kicking some butt with Manuel, and Johnny had more of a sound like that. So, and it was the direction we were moving in. So he gave us a
uh-huh.
different sound that was very unique. He has his own little sound when he plays. You know what I mean? And that kind of
Mhm.
rounds us out to give us a very unique sound. Him as a conjunto drummer, my brother's a norteño type of accordion, and me just doing what I do. You mesh it together, and well, you got potente.
How do you compare with this is I'm just throwing this out there. How do you compare with Los Chamacos?
Uh,
Cuz
it's
see,
it's
I'm thinking, I'm going back to 94, okay? And I remember Los Chamacos then and I remember you guys then. So, I would probably get confused if there wasn't a name in front. I don't know. It's just you guys kind of had the same sound. Or am
yes,
I wrong?
yes and no. I mean, it's a legit point. I mean, we were mimicking them. I'm not gonna lie, but as we got into, I think when we hit Freddie Records, the first CD, you could
Oh,
that comparison unleashed could be made.
yeah,
Once we got into Siempre a mí, the 4 CD.
right.
I don't think you could make that comparison anymore. Our sound was
Mhm,
different. We had already grown into our sound. But if you wanted
mhm.
to say that about the first CD and the third CD, Querían Más with Linda Morenita, that was a fair assessment. But once you get into Siempre a mí and Hombre Muerto, that was a totally different sound. You can't confuse it with Chamacos. I'm sorry. No, and these
Well,
these are my friends. I know them personally. I'm a big fan of theirs. Always have been. But I'm just saying my opinion.
I'm honored to say that they visited me here on I-10 in Deming. They stopped to do an interview with
Awesome.
me. It
Awesome.
was, and then they took me out to eat. So that
That's
was
great.
really nice. Yeah, they
Heck
took me out
yeah.
to dinner. And it was really fun. The only funny part is I was telling them, you guys have to try this New Mexico chili, and I was just excited to introduce them to all this. But then when we got to Irma's, they're like, we're gonna eat some chicken.
I'm gonna eat some chicken.
We're gonna eat some, we're gonna eat some fajitas. I don't know. They didn't. I had to have them bring a little bowl, red chili and green chili, so they could try our chili, and it was
You
just too
didn't want to try it.
spicy. Okay,
I
so
wouldn't have eaten it either. I wouldn't have eaten it either. I don't
I
blame
was
them.
like, I was like surprised. I was like, no way, you guys, you're not gonna try this stuff. And then Ugo says, well, pass it over, and we'll just kind of, with the chip that the tortilla, just barely the tip of it. They touched it with their mouth, and they're like, you want to try this? Do you really want to try
Try this.
this? But anyway, speaking of them, and let's go back to you guys, the 16th annual Tejano Music Awards,
That was it,
96.
de la noche a la mañana. Like I said, I remember that Christmas prior to that because the Tejano Music Awards and that time was in March. So I remember that song Linda Bonita came out officially to the radios like beginning of January. But if
Uh-huh,
there was a Freddie Records Christmas party, so any DJs who went could pick it up
uh-huh,
there. And I remember
uh-huh.
some DJs picking it up on cassette, mind you, on cassette. That's how long ago it was. And people took it by the middle of February. Well, it was everywhere. And then well, Freddie got us into that Tejano Music Awards. That's one of our most
Highlights.
notable, what do you call it, performance. That one in the Vegas showcase later that year, and of course the Rogelio Boteo show that everybody either mocks or likes. But those are our three highlights of our career. And like I said, I'm reminded so many years later as we come back, I'm
Mhm,
reminded of the impact that we didn't feel that we had that type of impact, but we're
mhm,
reminded every day by fans all over
mhm,
of
mhm,
what the impact we did make in the short period of time that we were out. And it feels good, specifically our fans in Mexico. That's why it's so important for us to go back and give to them, because imagine 30 years, 25 years was, yeah, about 25 years. We went in 98, so about 27
right.
years since the last
96.
time we went over there. And we got a lot of fans that still just like, we just want to watch you. It don't matter. 27 years later. So it feels special. And like I said, we're just happy to be performing for people who want to hear our music.
So, Mr. Potente, did you guys just start because really you guys just popped up, and then I was asked, Dina, would you like to do an interview with Potente? And I was like, I know Potente. I was like, Potente, Potente. I was like, I know these guys, and then I remembered the Linda Morenita, and I said, and I went to look, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah, because
Yeah.
and then I said, where
Remember.
have they been? Because well, I've been doing, I got out of radio back in 2021. I'm a retired teacher now, and I decided I wanted to do internet radio. So I went on in 22, 23. I went on to do this. So I had to play a little catch up with some of the older ones, the older market, So I was touching bases. I actually focus a lot on the new artists. I am really excited about what the new artists are doing because I want Tejano to be the same, but at the same time, we're in a new era, so we wanted to have that retain that same sound, but then make the connections with the old sound. You know.
That's a great. I know we're going to be wrapping up here in the next 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm going to touch on it real quick. That what you want to do is not possible, and it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault right now. The fault lies, and I said this. I don't know. I vented on a comment on Keith Leal's Tejano Time podcast or something. He had somebody Miguel Hernandez on, and what he was saying. I put a long old thing. I love it because it's you can't in the late '90s when you said you were on the radio.
Uh-huh.
The KXTN drove everything. KXTN. So
Right.
KXTN decided who was going to be a hit, was not going to be a hit. Well, when you start picking and choosing who you're going to play and not play, and affecting that, well, if you don't build any future stars, which they didn't. Tell me
Right.
what future stars they built within Tejano. They didn't. So they thought that the David Ligares, the Ram Herreras, Jay Perez, the Marcos Delgados, the Desperados, they thought they were never gonna get the Joe Lopez's, the Jimmy Gonzalez, were never gonna get old. Well, guess what? You need to have fresh stars because by and large the demographic you need to sell to is 15 to 25 for a genre to exist. Okay? So think about that. If you don't build future stars, well, now our children, or my child, or most children, they don't want to listen to what their parents listen to. So you got young artists like the Conjunto Cats and Chris Ramirez Letal, good bands. They're friends of mine. I know them. I follow them. Who are they playing to? They're playing to a bunch of 45, 50-year olds our age because we still like that music. I,
Right.
I just referenced this on one of our shows. I said when we were those ages, our early 20s, we were playing to a bunch of 17, 18, 19-year-olds because their genre was we were playing to the correct people. Once they didn't build any future stars, then that is corporate radio who did that. Corporate radio
I
is
have to
who's
say
at
that
fault.
because at the radio station, it was like, okay, billboard, billboard,
That's it.
very limited. Elida, just, it
Yes.
was not fun. It was not fun. I was like, why do we have
You've
to do this?
got to build future
Right.
stars because the
I
future
I
stars are the
agree.
ones who are going to bring in the younger demographic.
Right.
I
But you
like the
know what?
Conjunto Cats. They're great, but they're playing to a bunch of older people.
Listen to this. I have to disagree to an extent because I grew up with little Joe. My grandfather, my papa
Hmm.
had a bar, and we used to sleep on the other side of the stage. And my uncle had the quinceaneras, all that stuff, and performers, Ruben Ramos, little Joe, and we listened to that stuff when we were at campfires camping, and the music was there. So you got to start them out very young, 4, 5, 6 years old. So because that's the way I learned. That's the way I fell in love with the Tejano music, through the sound, through that age, Anthony.
But you're
So
there by and
don't you think
large.
don't you think
By
there's
you're
still a
right.
charm?
I was like that.
Were
I like
you?
Ramon Ayala. My dad had me on Ramon Ayala.
Right?
For us, it was Ramon Ayala Relampagos, and of course Relampagos were in the 60s and 70s. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we're,
Right?
we're talking about 1980, 82, 83, 84, and we're listening to music from the 1960s and 70s. So yes, but we're músicos. But the fans at large, they were listening to that. Who were they listening to? Emilio, which Emilio, who was Emilio? I imagine. See, there was nothing like Emilio, nothing Ram. That was fresh in the mid late '80s, mid
Mhm.
late '80s, early '90s. The Rams and the Mafias and Mas. That was a different sound from what you're describing, which is Freddie Martinez, Agustin Ramirez, Ruben
Mhm.
Ramos, Little Joe, all that era. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, some of us as músicos are apoyando eso, pero the demographic at large that we need necessarily isn't. They're looking for something new.
How
and
do you
that's
feel about
what
how do you feel about contemporary pop that we have now? Have you
I
heard?
mean,
Do you,
I like.
can you think of somebody at the top of your head that's doing some Tejano pop? You know, that's falling under the Tejano because
There's
they're
different versions. There's different versions of. I've heard some groups. You know what I mean?
Savannah.
I
Savannah he does a little bit of contemporary pop.
hmm yes. Like I said, it's.
Ruby Ann.
Mhm. I wish I could show you some of mine. With some of my personal music. Yeah, yeah. If you want to hear pop, and it's more like an '80s pop, but it's
Uh-huh.
with the bajo and accordion, and that's what I'm talking about. That should be the sound, Tejano sound today, in my opinion. I don't care what version you pick, okay,
Mhm,
but not
mhm.
your traditional Tejano. And not that I don't like it. I like it.
Right.
Diego and Destiny are definitely following in their father's footsteps. Yes.
But you know what, Anthony? Some people are not accepting that. Some Tejano artists are not accepting that. I think
Okay, I lost. Are you there?
okay.
Okay,
Some
I guess
some
I lost
people
it.
are, yes. Some people are not accepting that. You know, artists are not accepting that. And like Heather Jolene Alcantar out of San Angelo, Texas, she's doing some contemporary pop under the genre Tejano, and some people don't that's not Tejano. That's not Tejano. I disagree. I
Well, but see, the reason why we disagree is because we're not the right demographic. Does that make sense? Remember what I just told you? That the demographic they would accept that doesn't exist because when you didn't make future stars, those people tuned out to go to country, to rock, or whatever. So instead of breeding a new version of Tejano, they're all somewhere else. And the Tejano fans that are left, by and large, they don't like that because that's not their Tejano. Our
Yeah.
Tejano is Jay Perez, David Lee Garza, Ram Herrera. That's our Tejano. For us, that's what Tejano sounds like. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
understand why people say what you're saying. That's not Tejano. Of course it's not, because that's not our Tejano. It's like a country. You get a country artist today, you tell them, hey, they hear George Strait. What the hell is George Strait, man? That ain't country. Or get somebody my age, and I hear some of the modern country. I said, that ain't country. Give me George Strait. That's country to me. Once
Right.
again,
Right.
I'm from another time. But see,
Hmm.
their genre grew and moved to more to the pop. So now you got a bunch of what considered pop country. But that's the demographic is
Classic
a younger
Tejano.
demographic. You see what I'm
I want
saying?
to say hello to Rosie Ellison via Rap Promotions. Thank you for joining us, Rosie. Do you know Rosie?
I
Um,
don't.
Heather Jolene Alcantar, I just mentioned her out of San Angelo, Texas. She's doing contemporary pop. Also, Vivian Chavez out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Thank you for joining us. Tenemos a Erica Rodriguez too from Mass FX. And Joe Leal, Chicago. Do you know Joe? Joe Leal out of Chicago, Illinois.
I've just, what do you call it, starting seeing some of his stuff here on my
Okay.
Facebook page. Yes.
Yeah. And then I want to also say hello to Keith Leal. He's also with us. Thank you for
Keith.
joining us,
What's up,
Keith.
Keith?
You guys, we're not trying to ignore you guys here. We're just into a hot conversation about Tejano. And and let's see who else. Johnny Martinez. He's agreeing. Gilbert Pena. And Ron Perez out of Silver City. We have Vicky V. Yeah, Vicky V Promotions. Victoria Promotions is with us. Sammy Torres, Jessica Sachs. So I mentioned her. And I'm sure, this topic is hot for them too. Jerry Lewis, Silver City, Bob Silva. And I have to agree and then disagree because it's just being that I am pushing for the new artists. It's like, what do I do? What's, and then not only that, they're using a lot of, what is it called? Percussions? Is that
Yeah.
what it's called?
Mhm. Like I said, it's very difficult. There's I've thought about it. I think a lot. Okay, I'm like the John Dutton. I'm always thinking a lot, sitting there thinking and sitting and thinking. I'm always, trying to figure out what can be done. At this point, you just got to write it out. It is what it is. If you want to play more modern sounds, go for it. Play because you're happy. That's what I found out. That's what we do. We don't care. I don't care if I make money. I don't care about nothing. All I care about is getting on a stage and performing. You know why? Because I hate politics. That's the politics are what ruin every musical. And anybody who plays knows what I'm saying. And if you don't believe it, guess what? You haven't played enough, because that's the truth. It's all just get. Why do you start? Why do you pick up an instrument? Why do you grab a mic when you first start? Because you want to play, you want to perform, and then all the politics start getting involved in money, and that's what ruins everything. And that's why I don't care about playing for money. I don't care about none of that. You know what? Most of the times I go play, I spend way more money than what I make, and I'm as happy as I've ever been because I got up to go play, perform. The people love it. We entertain them. Oh man, y'all are such a great band. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it, man. Next time we're in town, come by, man. It would be to catch up. Against el otro. That's it. Then we go home and go to our normal lives. And then when we go back to play, the people who show up, we're super excited to see them and perform for them. That's it. And if you
Mhm.
do that, let the chips and cards fall where they may. That's my
You have
what I think.
you have so many interviews, Anthony. Do you think that you'll be hitting this topic, or do you think you're going to do something different? You think that people will want to know about this more, about what's going on with Tejano today?
I think it's a very. I think I've seen it. I don't think so. I don't think too many artists get into it as passionate as deeply as I do. I've seen a couple, but not as
Uh-huh.
passionate deeply because it means something to me. You know what I mean? It
I
means
am I
something to
am
me.
I'm looking forward. You don't want to tell me anything. You don't want to say anything to me about or expose it right now. I'm curious. I'm not going to be able to sleep till I hear whatever you have to bring to the table as far
What?
as your new EP,
What new EP?
your new
My
music.
stuff. My stuff. See, that's the difference. See, Potente. The reason why I started doing a lot of my own music, and this is I've had it for a couple of years. This stuff that I like, and it sings
Uh-huh.
that people listen to the way I sing it, and they're like, "Man, that's ugly." It's the said it's the way I like it. It's a different style.
Is that what you're gonna break out with? Is it called Unleashed?
No, no. This is my own stuff, aparte de Potente. But
Oh,
I was putting a lot of my stuff, Anthony Quintanilla, out, and I have some songs that I was gonna put out, but then we started playing as Potente, and there's a window on Potente. There's a window because we only have a couple of more years, and then one of us could get sick or something. And if me, my
uh-huh.
brother, or Johnny were to get sick or something happen, to one of us, guess what? It's over. I'm playing. I'm not getting somebody else. It's those two guys and myself. And if we can't play together, I ain't playing. I don't care who gets somebody else. I ain't. Now I'll do my own music, but I have some of these songs that I wrote, and I was asking my brother if he would like to record them as Potente, and
Mhm.
they're very different. And so I'm excited. Like I said, it's gonna be some people who like it, some people who don't. The lyrics are. I don't know. You remember the song "Black and White" by Michael Jackson?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I wanted to write a song like that, so I wrote a song very similar to that about you know uh, race, but in Spanish, and a very pop sound. But I have to make it a little more Tejano side with Potente than I would with my own. When I make my music, I can make the keyboard with Potente. I can't necessarily do that. So the song that I want to talk to my brother, no importa su color. That's the name of the song, and I'm hoping that we can do it. Like I said, I'm not going to get a lot of backlash because you said some people that ain't Tejano. You're right. It ain't Tejano. And then you get some people, man, it's a fresh sound. It's awesome. So you know what I mean? It is what it is.
I don't know. You know what? I learned from my many years in at the radio station that my boss, they'd call me in, Dina. You're breaking the format. You're playing more Tejano. You need to not be changing the format. I had to accept the music that was playing.
I
I
got one
was like,
here. I got one
oh,
here.
and now I appreciate it.
I got one here. Ronnie Rodriguez, you're not too dedicated to London if you not know any of the new artists. I didn't say I didn't know them. I've heard of them. I said I don't want to. This is either you can see it as a strength or you can see it as a weakness, and I don't care. It's not. There's not a right or wrong thing. I don't listen to a lot of music. I because the reason why, because I believe if you start listening to too much music, you start sampling. And don't get. I know that I've been in the studio with Freddie Records. Oh man, let's make it like Intocable. Let's make it sound like so and so. Let's make it sound like so and so. That's the influence. Now it's a good. There's a good thing on that. But the bad thing is you start sounding like everybody else. Whereas if
Mhm.
you dedicate yourself, when I get in here making music, I don't really want to listen to too much. I just kind of roll with whatever I'm making. That way, now if it sounds like somebody else, that's okay because music's repetitive. Chords,
Right.
chords and progressions, they're repetitive. So, but that's how, in my opinion, you get fresh sounds by yourself. And if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't. I don't. Doesn't bother me none. I don't. I don't care.
The Hano stations are open to other music. Rosie Allison from Rap Promotions is stating that, and you know, it's evident with Rosie because she's throwing out there some you know, contemporary pop, I should say. And you know, Areli C from California. We have La Machi. We have who is it? Heather Jolina Cantar. I mean, I just to name a few. Just It's out there, and I love it. I love it all.
Well,
I
I
tell
will
you,
say this. I'm going to say this. My brother and I mean, we have these conversations when we drink here in my house, and I mean, we could be here all night. My brother and I would talk this subject all night long. One of the things that we think, and like I said, everybody has their own opinion. I'm not going to change anybody's mind. But what is Tejano? What is Tejano? Why a lot
you're
of
asking me.
yeah, hold on. Why a lot of us made it in the industry? I'm just saying a lot of our old school musicians don't stay in the loop. Tejano will never get an old. That's what people love. Well, at least, like I said, I'm not going to change your mind, Ronnie. Obviously, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. But I
I
say
just
what I
don't.
say. Look,
I don't
Tejano
think
music.
we're not going to get the Gary Hobbs back. There's
Well,
no
no.
way that people are
What
going to
I'm
sound like
saying is,
Gary Hobbs. They're not going to sound like Bobby Pulido. They're not going to sound like
when
Elida.
you
You know.
got Beyonce, what did you say when they forced Beyonce into the country station? At large, what is everybody saying? She
Oh,
ain't country. It's bullshit, right? It is. But yet
right,
she was there. You see what I'm
right.
saying? And she
Yeah.
won the damn award because with money, everything by. Come on, man. Are you really gonna tell me Beyonce is country? Dude, get her out of there. She doesn't belong there. You see, they're crossing bounds. You shouldn't cross bounds. They should be somewhat of a thing. But you gotta grow it in. I'm not saying you can't change. Look, listen to Taylor Swift,
Would
classic
be a
example.
surprise.
Taylor
Mhm.
Swift when she came in.
I think she was even surprised. Beyonce. Did you see the face? Her face when she was. She's like, I don't even think she thought she was going to win.
Politics and money. That's it. That's all I got to say. Politics and money. I'm not going to get into it. If they want to buy their awards, that's fine. And this is not about buying awards. Once again, I'm going to double down on this. You want to see? Go watch us perform. That's anybody. We play and we play. We don't play for the money. We don't play for the credibility. I don't care. I'm here just to meet you and talk with some of the fans that remember Potente. If you don't agree with my opinions, that's fine as well. But I can tell you this: when you see Potente, you see a band who loves to perform together. We ain't performing for the money. We don't care the politics. People tear us down. The industry tears us down. They don't hire us, whatever. I don't care. You know why? Because when I play, we're gonna bring the house down. That's what we do.
Yeah, I
And
wish I
and
had.
we do that. We do that every time we play. Every time we play.
I
And
like
you
your
know what?
attitude.
No, no,
I
and the new artists they say that I don't know about the new artists they say that I don't know about. If they continue to do that, trust me, their heads will turn. That's all you got to do, and leave. That's what I said. Let the chips fall where they may, because you don't control any of that. As the artist, get up there and play like it's your last show every time. You do that, I guarantee you, people will start to realize who you are because people get inspired by that. You know what I mean? People don't get inspired by musicians who get up there, oh, give me my $300 or give me my $350. People don't get inspired by that. They don't inspire people. Get up there and perform like it's your last show. You love it. Show the people this is what I love to do. This is who I am. You continue to do that. Don't worry. Watch the Conjunto Cats. Those guys get up and bring the house down every time they get up. Heart and soul. And dude, look what they're doing, because those guys, I watch them a lot because they're here from local Seguin, San Antonio area. You know what I mean? And I watch them a lot. These guys are heart and soul. Chris Letal, Chris Ramirez Letal, same thing. Man, you see that kid get up there, man. He gives his heart and soul every show. That's why you see them. They're coming up. Just do that. You don't control nothing else.
Mhm, mhm. That's right. You know what? I know we're running out of time now. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on this video that I want to play it at the end. Anthony.
Oh, hey, you got it queued up because you know what? When we get off here in a little bit, I'm gonna show you a thing or two. And like I said, you just call me. I use the same restream, so I will help you. Trust me, because I mean, see, I'm not a hater, Dina. I'm not a hater. I want to help you because I want your show to be good. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna tell you, do this, do that, so you can show. Hey, you need an intro. I'll work an intro and I'll get it to you, and I'll show you how to upload it, so your
Oh
show gets.
man.
Because come on, that's why we
But
do
they,
this.
but
We love it.
everybody says that. Everybody says that, and nobody wants to answer
Well,
my call.
hey, okay, pues vamos a ver. Vamos a ver when you send me your stuff and I make it because you check it out. I had a guy before we go, Dina.
Uh-huh.
I had a guy.
Uh-huh.
He plays our music on SAS radio. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and cool, Conjunto Ben always tunes
Uh-huh.
into us, right?
Oh yeah,
And
conjunto.
he
Uh-huh.
wants our old songs, and I'm like, man, my brother has them on MP4. So
Uh-huh.
so Conjunto Ben doesn't know how to move them to MP3s. So he's
Uh-huh.
upset last night because he doesn't know how to do it. So I told him, guess what? So you know what? I went at 10 o'clock last night. I went and I converted 90 songs. Took me
Oh.
30 minutes. I uploaded it in a Google Drive folder this morning. He says, bro, thank you so much. It took me 30 minutes of my time. I had to pause the movie, come to my computer, convert 90 songs so that he could play them. Because you know what? He's a fan. You want to know how I roll? For all these people who think that I whatever, that's how I
I
roll.
like I like how you roll. I like
Yes,
your
because I
genuineness,
help
your
I help people.
honesty, your drive. You're a people person. You care. I love
Yes.
that. I just love that. I love it, and I can't just thank you enough. And I hope you stop by. Yeah, I hope you guys stop by Deming one of these days on your way to Tucson or California, and I will take you guys to dinner.
Oh no, no, no. And that's what I'm saying. I like Tiger Mays. I told him I want to go. I've been wanting to for a couple of years, a year and a half. I've been wanting to go,
Oh,
and
the
I run
Tiger,
into
I
him
love
when
Tiger.
I'm performing. But I told him I
Uh-huh,
want to go over there and hang out with him and do a show in
uh-huh,
vivo because I
right?
mean
Uh-huh.
I love Tiger. Tiger's he's like me, just genuine, loves this shit. I
Oh, I
mean,
know.
he just loves it, man. So I
I love
love
him too.
catching up
I
with
love,
him.
yeah,
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 that's what I said. You don't take me to eat out. I take you eat. You and Melanie, I'll go pay for that shit. Don't worry about
yeah,
it. Order
yeah,
whatever y'all want because y'all are my friends. That's how I roll.
yeah,
That's how I
yeah.
roll.
That's the way it should be, I don't know. It's
Johnny,
just,
right there. I need to bring Potente to Tucson. Yes, sir. Let's make it happen, Johnny. And and you guys, you know what? I don't care. It's y'all's territory. We'll open up for you guys. How's that? I don't care because we just want to go
woo!
play. We just want to go play, man. That's it. Hey, and then to go play with my friend Johnny and his brother. I mean, his family. Like, dude, I mean, that's what we're about, man. Just you know, riding out this for the people who love Tejano. We're at the tail end of it. Let's just enjoy it. Enjoy what's left of it. If si esto acaba con nosotros, acaba. ¿Me entiendes? But let's enjoy it. That's it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Johnny says, I'll make it happen. Was Zumbale Johnny, you got it. You know you can send me a message anytime, whenever. And if I don't
Hey,
answer it that night, the next morning I will.
Anthony, I have
Yes, ma'am.
Sean Sobrano says, I remember Potente coming to Moulton, Texas for Ruben Ortiz's wedding.
Ruben
You
Ortiz used to
all
be a
jammed.
drummer. Ruben Ortiz
Yeah,
used to be our drummer for a while.
right,
Yeah, Ruben
right.
still called me from time to time. So yeah, it's cool when I talk with him. We're taking
Uh-huh.
you to eat, Johnny. Here we go. See, Johnny, nobody take. I take y'all to eat. Johnny knows this. When we do the video shoots, when we at the end, I say, let's go eat, and yo pago todo. That's it because I'm so happy. I'm so happy to just be doing videos and whatever. I don't care. My wife looks at me like, you're gonna pay for everybody with a look like, no, you better not. I said, don't you worry. I said, it's all on me. Don't worry about
Well, I'm gonna fire my old tech and I'm gonna hire my new tech. Here's my new tech, guys.
it. Tina, thank you for having me on. This was great, man.
Yeah,
Different people were on your feed.
yes,
I got some
yes,
different people that came on here. Tammy,
right,
thank you, Tammy, for tuning in. Gavino, what's up? Johnny, thank
yes.
you for tuning in. Make it happen, Johnny. You know we're down. And like I said, I mean, it's a pleasure. To This is an early one, so saludos a
Hey,
todos. Yes, ma'am.
Anthony, we didn't talk about conjunto. Are you gonna do any conjunto? More conjunto
Well,
in the
I'd have to get
future?
it. Well, sí, conjunto.
That would
That's
be
what I'm
another
saying.
interview, right?
Well, yeah, conjunto tejano. We're now we're doing the same thing because I don't believe that we're conjunto. And I don't believe we're tejano. Very much like the
Oh, okay.
desperados, very much like the
Oh,
palominos. We have a
yeah,
very
okay.
unique sound. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's hard to
Well,
categorize us.
what do you think about the conjunto diferencia? They sound a little
They're
ranchero.
conjunto. They're conjunto, and they're based out of conjunto, and that's good. I'm not here to say one is better than the other. We're just one of those bands that is smack in between. And that's why my brother and I say, where do we fit? We don't.
Right.
Tell us, do you put us with a Garcia Brothers, which is a hardcore conjunto, or a Tony de la Rosa? No. Do you put us with a Joe Lopez and a Jimmy Gonzalez? No. Well, where do you fit us? We like you can. Some of our songs are a little more tejanon, some of us are a little more conjunto, but we're smack in the middle. Palominos, when they play
Well,
their style, they were much
you know
like that
what?
as well.
You know what? When I'm not, I don't go very much to San Antonio. I've probably been there 3 times or 4 times. Well, I shouldn't say that. Well, I used to go to the awards back in the 90s. But when I go to San Antonio, to me, man, zapateale. I know how to zapatear, and it's going to be with conjunto for sure.
It does. I mean, it doesn't matter. Es el gusto tuyo. Like I said,
Yeah.
I watch conjuntos. Like I watch Conjunto Diferencia. I watch their stuff, and like I said, I got to play to them. It was awesome. I don't know. Johnny's like, man, thank you for getting to play. I said, no, man, thank you for letting me get up and play. You know what I mean? That's how he's looking at me. You gonna get up and perform with us? Yeah, dude. I'm looking at him, Johnny. Thank you for letting me play because I had a great time. When I get somebody lets me play
Johnny,
the drums, I'm like,
Johnny,
oh, dude, awesome.
Johnny Martinez Jr. is a big bear. I love him
Oh,
to death, and he
awesome,
knows it. Oh,
awesome, dude.
he's just. And what I want to say hello to Juanita Candelaria. She is the mother of Frankie.
Okay,
Frankie, the voice,
saludos.
she's on with us right now too. Fermina Valverde. She's a good friend of mine. She's out of Rio Doso.
Okay,
So we'll say hello to her. But yes, we're gonna end this, and I'm gonna take this challenge to play your video.
go ahead, go ahead.
let's see, let's see
Let's
what
see,
let's see what.
let's see how
So
this
you
goes.
guys, I know. So you guys, be a little patient with me because I'm gonna play this video. We're gonna end the interview now because we're gonna get a lesson going here, right? Right, Anthony?
Yeah, real quick before I got another interview, so let's wrap this up so I can
Let's
we got
go.
about
Let's
20,
go.
30 minutes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We
Thank
love
you.
you. God bless you. More interviews coming tonight.
Just watch it like that with no sound because you probably have to reboot it and bring it in. That's why. Mic check.
Yeah.
It's not showing any right there. It's not showing a volume right there. That's what's wrong with it. You probably have to reboot it. Don't worry, we'll get it next time. Don't worry, Dina. When we get off, I'm gonna show you how this is done and how to do all this. I promise you.
You'll get to see it tonight.
Yes.
Well, you guys, there you have it. You'll get to see these videos tonight on the other interviews. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and you have a good night, and God bless everybody.